Welcome back to iFVGs of the day. Today's Friday, March 6, 2026. Coming into market open, I was pretty bearish as we had an unfilled 1 hour fair value gap. We had sell side plus London lows all the way down here, and then another sell side level on the high time frame. I wanted to see price open up, hit consequent encroachment of the 30-minute fair value gap, and then dip lower into our high time frame drawn liquidity. And that's exactly what we ended up getting at 9:35 a.m. We have a delivery off a 30-minute fair value gap, bearish SMT, strong displacement lower, low resistance liquidity leading up to an unfilled 1 hour, which was our high time frame drawn liquidity at the time. Once we hit this unfilled 1 hour fair value gap right here, that's where I went break even, and then ultimately I got stopped out at break even. However, I know a lot of other people in the space put their stop loss right here and entered right before the candle actually closed. So they got a better fill, better stop loss, and they were able to get all the way down to here to the 1-to-1 for even a 2R trade. If I put my stop loss at the base of this candle, I would have been able to get a 1-to-1, and this would have been a win for me. However, if I put my stop loss at this swing high, this would not have hit a 1-to-1. So either I would have had to go full exit right here once we hit the unfilled 1 hour, or just be accepting of the break even. So this is just something that I'm going to have to journal. However, this was an A+ trade in my opinion. Next, we have this 2-minute inversion to the upside, targeting a deeper discount into premium inside of this 30-minute fair value gap. I gave this a B- for 2 reasons. One, the entry would have been at 9:40 a.m. So the 9:45 PO3 could have easily manipulated you lower after sweeping this 1 hour fair value gap, because ES still had room to go lower. ES was just not in a place to distribute higher in my opinion, so I felt like this was a pattern trade, but it ended up working out anyway. At this point, my drawn liquidity changed to the buy side level right here for data highs. If you entered this trade, your drawn liquidity, that buy side level of the data highs, had to be very strong. The first reason why I faded this trade is because the entry time was 10:13, so the 10:15 PO3 could have easily manipulated you out, especially because this is a devil's mark here, low resistance liquidity, and ES still had room to move lower. The second reason why this trade is not good and is a pattern trade in my opinion is because our delivery is off a 4-minute fair value gap. Yes, we are sponsored by the 1 hour fair value gap right here that sent price higher. We then rebalance into this 4-minute fair value gap, and yes, if you are bullish, you can take this because your drawn liquidity is so convicted to be higher. However, if you were not convicted in the data highs this morning, I don't think that this was a good trade. Personally, for me, I only accept deliveries off a 5-minute fair value gap or higher. Yes, you can use 4-minute fair value gaps to send price higher. However, I do not use 4-minute fair value gaps in these situations. Lastly, it's this 5-minute inversion towards the end of session. This was an entry at 11 a.m. I personally gave this an A- just because how late the entry was, and it was towards the end of AM session. If we think about this move chronologically, we have the delivery and sponsorship from a 1 hour fair value gap. That then sends us higher with a rebalance into this 15-minute fair value gap that also sends price higher, which is an entry on the 5-minute fair value gap here, leading to the data highs, which is our high time frame drawn liquidity. Now, I personally do not enter trades at 11 a.m., but if you were convicted in this buy side level right here as the data high for 8:30, this would have been a good hold in my opinion. We have the delivery off the 15, we have the sponsorship from the 1, we have the nice displacement candle higher on the 5-minute chart. That's personally why I give this one an A-. That's it for iFVGs of the day. Make sure to hit the follow button and save for later.